Alright guys, so we are on CHING number 59, so we're just going to get straight into where I left off. The first thing that I have is a pair of shoes. These were a pair of Crocs. They were in the style called the Leigh Wedge. They were sandals. I got these at a yard sale. I think I paid $5 for them, maybe a little bit more, because they were brand new, still in like their original bag with the tags and everything. But they did sell for $49.99. I definitely like picking up Crocs, especially the ones that are a little more different than just the regular, you know, ones everyone knows about, just like the, what do you call them? Like clogs, I guess, the clog looking ones. Yeah, just anything that's just slightly different, like the sandals. I know I sold a pair of Disney related Croc sandals as well. So I like picking them up, and I like wearing them too. Next we have a Ralph Lauren duffel bag. This was just like a really large travel bag. It was probably something that would have been like a gift with purchase type thing, you know, when you purchase a fragrance, how you sometimes get a gift. I got that at a yard sale. I probably paid about $1 for it, and it sold for $23.99. I did have this for a while. It did take a while to sell. Next we have a pair of KIRKS shoes. These sold for $12.99. They probably came from a yard sale, so I probably spent like at the most $1 or $2 on them. I think I said in my last cha-ching that I'm getting a lot more particular with KIRKS. I used to just pick them up all the time because they would sell, but lately I'm having a hard time selling them, though within this cha-ching I think I sold 3 of them, but I am just being slightly more particular with which ones I'm picking up. Like, they kind of just have to stand out a little more than just being by KIRKS. Next we have a 101 Dalmations ceramic figure. This was of Pongo. Got this at a yard sale, probably paid $1 or less for him, and he sold for $15.99. I do feel like I had him for a while as well, at least a year he took to sell. Next we have a vintage purse. This is by a company called ANDE. I'd say maybe it's from like the 80s or early 90s would be my guess as far as age. That sold for $11.99, so not a whole lot. Next we have a Michael Kors dress shirt. So this is just like a button up. It had like a, you know, like a chain link kind of detail all over it. That sold for $18.99. I'm not exactly sure where I got that. I feel like it might have been a fill-a-bag rummage sale, or it could have been the thrift store, in all honesty. I just don't remember, but I do know it took a while to sell, hence why I can't exactly remember where it originally came from. Next is a Lane Bryant cardigan that sold for $12.99, and that did come from the Facebook Marketplace garbage bag of clothes. I think there's only, yeah, there's I think 2 pieces in this cha-ching that came from those garbage bags. Still have stuff. Next we have a Bugs Bunny Spacemaker pencil case. This is just a plastic pencil case. It is from 2001. I got this at a thrift store, and I think I only paid $1 for it, or potentially 99 cents. And that sold for $19.99, so that's pretty awesome. I feel like I see these Spacemaker pencil cases a lot, and I think for a little while they were selling decently, but when I checked, I feel like it wasn't quite that long ago, I wasn't really seeing anything that spectacular. So I don't know if maybe it just like caught on and then the market got oversaturated. But if I do see them with, you know, a cartoon character on it or something other than just a plain colored Spacemaker pencil case, then I'm more interested in picking it up. Next we have this was like a vintage little miniature guitar kind of ornament. I think this was in a box lot that I might have won at an auction. I can't remember. I feel like I had it for a while. I did sell for $14.99, so, you know, I'm glad I didn't just like throw it away or something like that, because I really didn't know anything about it. Didn't know if it was gonna be, you know, something anyone would want, but that's the great thing about eBay. Everyone is always looking for just that certain something, so you just never know what's gonna sell. Next, I have a bracelet. This was a fairy, it had fairies all over it, and it was by a company called KIRKS FOLLY. That sold for $29.99, and I did get that at a yard sale. I think I paid $1 for it, potentially $2. It did have its original box and everything like that, but this is a good brand. I rarely ever come across it. I think this is the first time I came across it where I actually purchased. No, I think I sold, yes. My brain is so scattered. I'm pretty sure I sold a pin by this company a while back. So this is the second piece that I found while out yard sailing. So next we have a vintage mesh trucker hat. This one just said Round Hill on it. I don't even know what Round Hill is or was, but it sold for $31, and that came from a yard sale, and I paid $1 for it. The next two items went to a subscriber. I had kind of recently purchased a bunch of jewelry at a yard sale. There was a lot of Joan Rivers jewelry and then some other jewelry. So some of that is in here. So she purchased two of the Joan Rivers necklaces that I purchased. The first one was a little hen on, I think it was like in a basket, like it was laying eggs. That sold for $29.99, and I'm pretty sure I purchased the Joan Rivers necklaces for anywhere from 50 cents to $1, I want to say. And then she also purchased another Joan Rivers necklace. It was like an Easter egg. It was like a blue Easter egg in a basket. That was really pretty as well, and that also sold for $29.99. Next item I have is a vintage caboodles that sold for $25.99. Got this at a yard sale, so I'm pretty sure I probably paid like $1 for it. I did have this one for a while, and typically when I find caboodles at yard sales, I keep them because I use them for just little odds and ends and things like that. I do have a couple of them, but I just haven't parted with those ones yet. But I was willing to sell this one. It did take a while to sell though. Caboodles did come back out with the vintage looking ones. I mean, obviously the people who want the vintage ones and not the new ones that look like the vintage ones type of thing. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that, like, I would prefer the vintage ones kind of thing. But yeah, so I don't know if maybe that might have brought prices down slightly on caboodles since they did re-release vintage looking ones. Next we have a kitchen prayer spoon storage. In my last CHING you guys saw I had sold a couple of different little pieces that had this kitchen prayer on. They did go to a subscriber, and I got like the whole little lot at a yard sale. I think I paid $4 for it. This spoon storage piece was one that I sold separately because it was more desirable, and there were none other listed that actually had the spoons with them, and the one that I had the spoons, so I think that made it even extra special. That did sell for $46, and the subscriber that won the other pieces did actually win the spoon storage rest as well, so I'm so glad that worked out for her. Next we have a treasure troll lot. This was a lot of 11 vintage treasure trolls. I won these at an auction, and those sold for $59.99. So those were kind of like just an experiment. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to get for them type of thing, But I feel like what helped in this situation with these treasure trolls was that the large majority of them had clothes, and I think that might be a big deal, that, you know, collectors, when they're looking for these, that, you know, they come with their original clothes type of thing. Next, I have a dress by Dress Barn. This sold for $13.99. I have had this dress forever, ages and ages and ages, and it finally sold. Hallelujah. So it's out of here. Next was one of those jewelry pieces that I got when I purchased the other, like the Joan Rivers jewelry. There was a bunch of jewelry by this company called CROCS and CROCS. They were pieces that were similar to what Jackie Kennedy wore. Very, very nice pieces. This one was a pair of clip-on earrings. I believe I paid $1 or $2 for those, and they sold for $49.99. So that was awesome. I still have quite a few pieces of the CROCS and CROCS jewelry listed. So we'll see if any of those sell at some point. Next we have, okay, here's another pair of Clark's shoes. These ones were espadrille type flats. Those sold for $23.99. I do think I got those at the thrift store, so I probably paid close to $8 for them. So yeah, not the greatest. Next we have this was a ceramic Tang Dynasty horse. I won this at an auction. I was drawn to it. I thought it was a really cool piece. I had seen similar ones of these horses listed on eBay, and they were all listed pretty dang high. I listed mine for $49.99, and that is what it sold for. Next, I have a Harley Davidson birdhouse. I purchased this at a yard sale. So this was definitely probably something that, you know, a crafter or something made. I don't think it's like officially licensed Harley Davidson item, but it was really cute, very unique. And we all know Harley people love their Harley stuff. Eric actually just purchased one last week. We have to go pick it up sometime this coming week. He has a Yamaha Striker, and he's been wanting to get a Harley, so he finally got one. So I'm probably gonna have to start buying him Harley stuff, because before he purchased it, he didn't really want anything Harley. Like, he didn't want any like Harley shirts and stuff like that because he didn't own one. But now that he owns one, he's gonna want everything. Next we have another pair of Clarks. So these were a pair of Clarks heels. These were really, really nice. So if I'm being more particular about Clarks, I would definitely pick up a shoe like this than opposed to that pair that sold for $12.99. These are just very like fashionable looking, but still really cute, and obviously super comfortable because they are Clarks. Those sold for $39.99, and I can't exactly remember where I purchased them. A lot of the times I get my Clarks at the thrift store, but I do occasionally pick them up at yard sales as well. This next item was a box of vintage Poland glass Christmas ornaments. These all had the little indentations on, and I feel like the vintage ornaments that have the indents can sell for a little bit more than just, you know, a plain regular bulb. But anyway, those sold for $39.99. I did win those at an auction. I can't remember exactly what I paid for them. This is the second box of kind of like vintage Christmas ornaments I have sold. I'm always so concerned about shipping them and having them arrive in one piece. It always scares me so bad, but so far, so good. So, but yeah, I'm always a little bit hesitant buying them because I know I have to ship them. All right, next we have this was a planter shaped like rain boots, shaped like frog. So frog rain boot planter. Eric had purchased this at a yard sale. It sold for $25.99. And I don't know if he paid $5 for it, $4 for it or $3 for it. It was less than $5 though, so we'll just go with that. The next item was a vintage ball jar. This is a huge ball jar that had an owl print on the front. I purchased 2 of these at a yard sale. I think they were $1 a piece, I want to say. So it sold for $49.99, and I still have one more left. I just think these would be so great to make like sun tea in, or like pickles or something like that. I debated on keeping the other one, but it is currently listed, so if it sells, it sells, but if not, I might take it down and make some sun tea out of it. Next we have a Furby skunk. I got this at a yard sale for $1 and he sold for $31. This kind of surprised me. I know that there are people out there still collecting Furbies who still want Furbies. This one, he was a little bit dirty, a little bit dingy, so I didn't think that he would really sell for much. I wasn't quite certain exactly how to go about cleaning him, so I figured the next person probably know a little bit more, especially if they're a collector of Furbies. They probably know, you know, the proper way to clean their fur and stuff like that. So that was a surprising sale to me, but I figured since I only paid $1 for it, I was just gonna get it and see, and it did sell. And I actually won another Furby at an auction, same one, just different colored eyes, a skunk, and that already sold too. So if you ever see Furby skunks, pick them up because both of the ones I purchased have sold. This next item was a set of 2 vintage rubber baby toys. I won these at an auction. Nobody wanted them. The bid got down to $1. So I threw up my card. I was like, you know what? I think these are really cute. And for $1, I'm just gonna take a chance on them. And they sold for $28. So that's really awesome. I just love the look of them. They were very kitschy looking. Next item was a Fenton butterfly white hobnail milk glass jar that had a lid on it, and the lid had the butterfly on. I sold one of these before, so when I came across this at a yard sale, I was like, well, I already sold one of these, so I'm gonna pick it up and we're gonna try and sell it again. And it sold again. It sold for $29.99, and I think I paid either $2 for it or $3. Next thing I have is a Sarah Coventry teardrop shaped necklace that sold for $12.99, and that also came from a yard sale, and I'm pretty sure I paid $1 for it. Next, I have a Victoria's Secret body spray in the scent Tropic Splash. This sold for $43.99. This is a discontinued fragrance, so it is desirable, hard to find, so that is why it sold for so much. Got that at a yard sale, and I'm pretty sure I paid $3 for it. This next item is also a piece that came from the Facebook Marketplace garbage bag of clothes. This one is a top that was by a company called New York Collection. That sold for $14.99. I sold a pair of Teva sandals, or Teva, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. I got these at a yard sale. I'm pretty sure I paid $1 for them. They sold for $32.99. So if I ever come across this brand again, I would probably pick it up because those sold, I think, fairly quickly. Next, I have a Ed Hardy scarf that sold for $30.99. I'm pretty sure this came from the Goodwill bins. I haven't been there in so long. I would love to go back sometime soon. I do feel like Ed Hardy stuff is becoming slightly popular again, and I definitely feel like this did go overseas, so I think it might be becoming a little more popular again in other countries. So that was a good sale. This next item was a vintage Barbie outfit. It was called Seaworthy. It was a little dress and hat. This came from a case of vintage Barbie doll clothes I had won at an auction. I did go through it, and this is, I think, the only piece I took out to sell separately, because when I looked it up, it was selling pretty decently. I sold that outfit for $26. Next, I have a McCoy planter. I also won this at an auction that sold for $35. And then here is the Barbie case that was filled with clothes. I just decided to list it all together. I just kind of wanted it out and gone. So I just listed it kind of like how it came when I won it at the auction, aside from listing that one dress separately. So that did sell for $39.99. This next item also came from an auction. It was a set of 2 of these ceramic Victorian looking cats that were on couches. These were so cute. I fell in love with them when I saw them. They were just like randomly in a box lot. Those sold for $40.99. So I'm glad I picked those up. Next, we have a vintage No Fear shirt. If you guys remember this No Fear brand, it was definitely popular in the 90s. That sold for $29.99, and I got that at a yard sale. I think I paid about 50 cents for it. So if I ever come across any more No Fear shirts, I'm definitely going to pick them up. This one wasn't even in the best shape. I feel like it did have a small hole in the armpit, if I'm not mistaken. Next, we have a motorcycle vest. This was just like a denim vest with like the cut off sleeves. I got this at a yard sale for, I want to say I spent about $2 or $3 for it. It was called Wide Open Cycles, and it had a lady on the back with her legs spread. Anyway, that sold for $35.99. Next, I have a vintage Hazel Atlas mixing bowl. This had orange kind of polka dots all over it. That sold for $39.99, and I paid $1 for that at a yard sale. I wish that there had been more pieces to it, or like an actual set, but it was just the one bowl. I sold another Lane Bryant dress, and this one sold for $16.99. So a little, oh wait, no, I'm thinking that other dress was Lane Bryant. It was Dress Barn. I apologize. It was the cardigan that was Lane Bryant. Anyway, this dress also took a while to sell. How about we go with that? I had that one for a while as well. Next was those Gathered Traditions Pilgrims dolls. I got these semi-recently at a yard sale. I think I paid $10 for them, so $5 for each doll, and those sold for $59.99. And the last thing that I have for this cha-ching was a vintage Pert shampoo. I had purchased a bunch of like vintage shampoos and stuff like that from a yard sale. I'm pretty sure I paid $1 for this, or 50 cents. And that sold for $49.99. I wasn't quite sure if that's what I would get for it, but that is what it sold for. So that is really awesome. So that is everything for this cha-ching video. At the end of the video, I typically talk about any kind of problems that have arisen on eBay lately. Out of this whole cha-ching video, everything that I made mention of, there was no non-paying bidders, no issues that I can remember from anything. So that was all good. As of today is August 10th. I am starting to notice a little more of an uptick of non-paying bidders again. I feel like for a little while it kind of, I hadn't had any problems for a little while, and now I feel like I'm starting to again, so I'm not quite sure why, but I have been noticing that. And as far as sales go, I definitely feel like sales are doing really, really well. Sales are definitely up for me. I ended last month out really, really well, and I was thinking that this month probably wasn't going to be as good as last month, especially because if you guys watch all my videos, in one of my last videos, I said I had purchased $600 worth of inventory. So obviously when I put that in my chart, that $600 is coming out of like all the profit, you know, that I've made so far this month. And even taking out that and taking out the cost of the money I withdraw to go to yard sales and stuff like that to source, I'm still doing really well. And we're only in like, what is this, the second week of August? So I feel like, fingers crossed, that this might also be a really, really great month for me. So that's awesome. That's always really, really good, obviously. I mean, that's what we want when it comes to reselling, is making amazing profits and selling our stuff and getting it sold and not just sitting, basically. So far so good. Hope everything is going good with you guys and your sales are doing great as well. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you've been experiencing any kind of issues, or if you just want to talk about how your sales are going or anything like that. We would like to hear it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.